Hey guys, we are back for another video. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. But before we get into this video, y'all, we have not discussed Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion number 3. And I have titled this Porsha versus Shamea and Drew. Because as we saw on the show, it was Porsha against Drew, with ultimately trickle down to Shamea against Drew, which is crazy because Shamea didn't really have an issue with Drew. And to be frankly honest, I don't believe Porsha did either, but baby, she didn't have a storyline. So, she had to dig up something, y'all. So let's jump into this video. As the intro plays out, make sure you guys are liking the video and make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. And make sure you enable your bell notification so you don't miss out on a video.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Hit that bell because the tea don't stop.
Okay, guys, so let's jump into it. I was going to do a review on this, but I'm like, listen, this is the last reunion until next season. So let's get into it. Now, I hope you guys have watched the reunion. If not, let's get into this little bitty snippet. Here we go.
Cousin.
In my head, absolutely.
In your head.
I said you could have ruined my engagement.
You would have played a part. You would have ruined my. I kissed Ken in the club. You kissed Ken in the club.
Did you just say they both kissed Candy?
Charles, do you remember meeting Phaedra?
Okay, guys, so if you didn't see it, that is what you missed. So let's kind of jump into this video here. So when they came back, obviously it picked up on Porsha and Shamea, okay? Porsha says that Shamea continued to drag her after Porsha gave Shamea this birthday shout out. Now, if you guys recall that last question, Andy had asked Shamea about, the relationship and about Porsha giving, Shamea the birthday shout out. And Porsha was like, well, even after giving Shamea the birthday shout out, Shamea continued to drag me. Now, let me kind of set the preface for this video. So what we're learning in the reunion is Porsha had a lot to say. Shamea didn't have so much to say. And I feel like, too, this was Shamea's first reunion. Maybe she didn't articulate it as well. Not saying she's not able to articulate what she's trying to say. I think Shamea is still in this mode of protecting a friendship that Porsha ain't protecting. So let's get into it. Now, Porsha asked Shamea pretty much, why are you fighting with me? And then Shamea says, why are you fighting with me? Y'all remember that? And then Porsha says, because you are lying, right? And then Shamea like, you lying too. So it seems like, maybe the both of the ladies are not being exactly honest. We don't know as to what part. But as I watch this reunion, I start to speculate on some things that they both were not telling the entire truth about, okay? Now, Porsha reveals that Shamea's mama is sneaky, is pretty much what she said. They went back and forth about that. There's a Porsha's mom daycare. Porsha explains that Shamea and Shamea's mom and Porsha mom, obviously they were good friends. They both were in the daycare business. However, Porsha mother went through some kind of financial struggles in which her daycare was foreclosed. Now, here's the issue. Porsha says that Shamea's mother went behind her back and bought that daycare. Porsha stated that they only knew because they rolled past the daycare in which Shamea mom was obviously taking down the sign, which would have been Porsha's mom's sign, and putting up the new sign. Now, listen to this, y'all. That's some sneaky stuff. Now, I get it. If Porsha mother, lost the daycare, anybody can buy it. But I think the point point Porsha was trying to make is it was sneaky. Now, Shamea went back and forth and said they had not talked for years. Now, when I said that I feel like they both told some lies, I think that that is a lie. Shamea made it seem like, oh, well, my mother bought it because they wasn't friends anyway. They hadn't even talked for 2 years. It's still shady, okay? Not saying that Shamea's mama cannot buy the daycare, but if I'm losing something and I'm telling you about it and you go back behind my back, you're using the information that I told you to profit yourself. That's sneaky. Now, if Shamea's mother would have said, ooh, I think I want to buy it, or maybe even disclose it, it wouldn't seem so bad, but I got to give it to Porsha. I get it. That's some shady stuff, okay? Now, get into this. Remember I said both of these women, they telling some lies here. I feel like Shamea was not honest when she said, listen, our mothers hadn't been talking for 2 years, because Shamea was making an excuse for something that her mother did, which there's no excuse for that, ma'am. Now, they did a flashback of Britt. Now, Britt is telling Porsha that Shamea showed those text messages that were only between Shamea and Porsha. Now, here's the deal, okay? Because Shamea has said and has maintained this to the death of her, that she has not said anything about Porsha and that people are pretty much making it up, or it's because of what they already had known. The issue here is Shamea is not standing on business and she's not being upfront with her feelings. She definitely had a problem with Porsha, but for some reason she is discounting her feelings and not saying, listen, ho, I don't like that you did this. And I feel like Shamea is a peacemaker. I feel like Porsha is her friend. And I feel like Shamea invalidated her own feelings to maintain a friendship. And that's something you don't do. And I believe Shamea did it so long until there were so many things that she just couldn't take it anymore. And I feel like Shamea should have said something. She let too many things happen and didn't say anything. And it could have been too that she's allowed so many things to go by and it's been so many years that maybe she didn't feel justified for bringing it up because it happened 5 years ago. But this is what I want to say to Shamea. It don't matter how long it happened. If you did not feel right about it, you should have said something. Don't ever let these hoes play in your face, because you see how this one did you on the reunion. She invalidated everything you said to justify everything she did. When everything Shamea said about the way that she feel, she was totally right. You cannot justify somebody's feelings and tell them how they should or should not feel. If you, my friend, and you didn't come to my wedding, but then you go online and say, I did come to your wedding, and how you know you didn't, I don't like you. So I totally get Shamea right now, but I think the way the delivery came over, it made it look like she was a liar. And I feel like this is how Porsha one-upped her, because Porsha knew this was going to be her first time, doing a reunion, and this is what she did, okay? Now, Porsha goes into stating Shamea turned things up once she got her peach. I don't believe she probably turned it up just by me watching Shamea's videos. I believe these were real feelings, and she talked about it because that is what she was feeling that she didn't tell Porsha about. But here's the deal. Porsha is a freaking human being. Isn't it ironic how she wants people to validate her feelings for the smallest things, but she invalidates her own friend's feelings? Shamea, this girl was never your friend. I'm just going to be real, because you came on the show and pretty much made yourself look like an idiot trying to protect the friendship of somebody that was quick to throw you under the bus as long as it was convenient for them. See, we all knew it. You just didn't know, okay? You were still trying to stand on friendship. She wasn't trying to stand on friendship, baby. She wasn't. So I get what Shamea is saying. But here's the deal, though, Shamea. Shamea took no accountability, though, for what she told the group about her relationship with Porsha. Again, Shamea wants to continue to validate Porsha. She wants to invalidate herself because For some reason, Shamea feels like she does not, she's not owed a feeling like, this was messed up. This is like, she feels like, listen, I'm just going to gloss over my feelings. Don't ever do that. Okay? Don't ever do that. Now, Porsha says that Shamea has told friends off the show that Porsha did not want her as a peach holder. She didn't want Shamea on the show. Shamea, listen, if Shamea felt like that, those are her feelings. Again, Porsha is invalidating the way that Shamea feels. Why does Shamea feel that you are her friend and you don't want her on the show? But instead of Porsha validating the way she feel and say, I'm sorry if you felt that way, she has to prove Shamea as a liar. I feel like Shamea really felt that way. And she's provided examples in the past, okay? I'm just going to leave it like that. Porsha goes on to ask Andy. Now she brings Andy in it because, again, the goal is to make Shamea look like a liar. She says, Andy did not always want Shamea on the show. Here's the deal, y'all. Because I done been around some hating hoes, okay? A lot of them. That's why I don't mess with them today, okay? I remember being the friend in the group who had everything that the other friends didn't have. And I was always trying to help and show people this. And so I said, you know what? I don't want to be these bitches' friends no more because why they don't got nothing going on for themselves? Why am I always helping? And why do I always feel like they're trying to pull me down to the gutter to where they are? So here's the deal. Porsha asks Andy to validate Shamea is a liar. But get this. Her asking Andy does not prove she did not want Shamea on the show. Because why would Porsha want Andy to think she is a hater? Because Shamea believed it, and I believe what Shamea thought. Because Shamea, in my eyes, has not proved that she don't like Porsha. She has not proved that she is a hater of Porsha. She hasn't proved that. Now, it could be proven the other way around. And let me make sure y'all understand where I'm coming from. Even on this show today, well, it's over, but y'all know this, what I'm talking about this season. Shamea has made herself look stupid again. For who, though? Porsha. Coming after Drew, getting into it with Angela because of what Porsha said. Shamea could have made herself look much better. She would have been more likable if she would have stayed the hell out of Porsha's shadow. Okay? Now, Andy asks Shamea, is there something she can apologize for and take ownership for? Shamea says she owns talking about her friendship problems with Porsha to the cast. So now Shamea kind of owns it. But I don't understand why this relationship is so important to Shamea that she just doesn't want to tell the truth. It's like she just doesn't want to make Porsha mad. I don't know. Does Porsha got some stuff on Shamea? I don't know, because I wouldn't want a friend like this. Listen, I don't play when it comes to my feelings. And let me just tell you, if you're my friend, even if you're an associate and you got one time to invalidate my feelings and you can go to hell away from me. I don't play like that because I don't invalidate people's feelings, okay? If I did something and you don't like it, I'm going to apologize and make a correction to my behavior. But one thing I'm not going to do is argue with no hoe about the way that I feel. Shamea, move on. Now, Shamea owns that she shouldn't have maybe told these ladies anything about her friendship. But Shamea, as you stated, they already knew. So the questions was already out there because me as a viewer, I was wondering the same damn thing, okay? Because I think you have a fabulous life. And sometimes people just want what you got, honey, okay? Believe that, okay? Now, Shamea also feels like after telling her situation to the group, she feels like she should have had a third party there because she feels like the group turned things around. Shamea started saying the group had a problem with her and Porsha's relationship, and it wasn't her. Again, Shamea is backpedaling. Shamea, the group didn't have a problem with your friendship with Porsha. It was you. They only saw what was evident. Okay? Stand on it. Stop backpedaling. Now, Drew clarifies that what Shamea is saying is just not true. Drew states that Shamea revealing all the information about Porsha, Drew felt like Shamea needed to vent and let it all out and to share the information in a safe place. Of course, Shamea, Shamea said, well, I don't feel like it was a safe place because they told. Why is Shamea walking around carrying all of this and not telling Porsha how she feels? Why do you want a friend like that? That is not a friendship. So I can understand why Shamea has all of this held inside of her. Like, who wants a friend that you cannot share this information with? And I feel like I understand why Shamea can't share it, because it was a battle with her and Porsha. It's like she couldn't say anything. And you would think from the relationship that Porsha and Shamea had, even if they didn't spend a lot of time together, because Shamea did say they went, she had went off to college. And then when she come back, her and Porsha had kind of, hung out and kind of got reacquainted. But the thing of it is they know each other's personality and mannerisms. Shamea does not appear or come off as a confrontational person. So the fact that Shamea didn't tell Porsha all of these things, why did Porsha not consider this girl's feelings? It just wasn't good watching. Okay. Porsha was able to find out that Shamea at some point was not happy with their friendship, but instead of addressing it, it became a problem. And that is why Shamea never said anything. But what Shamea should have did was let the friendship go, because this is not a person that has your best interest at heart. When we watch the show, we see Shamea looking crazy. For what? Trying to stand up for Porsha. Porsha didn't do that for you. Now, Drew goes into saying, that Shamea wanted them to pinky swear. So again, Shamea wanted to conceal the information. She never wanted Porsha to know. She wanted to carry that and still be Porsha's friend. No. Now, Porsha speaks on their private friendship. Oh, I already talked about that. Okay, now Porsha states Shamea is constantly doing press talking about her. Porsha. Okay, wait a minute. So Porsha is talking about, Shamea is still doing press talking about her. Porsha claims she has never spoke bad about Shamea. And then, Porsha says that Shamea said that she tried to sabotage her in engagement. So first of all, Shamea was getting married. During the time Shamea was getting married, Porsha was running around on television with Phaedra. Keep in mind, she's supposed to be Shamea's best friend, talking about Shamea allegedly having some kind of relationship with Todd and Kandi. Imagine you are Gerald, Shamea's now husband, and you hearing all of this. I would be like, wait a minute, girl. So what Shamea said was adequate. It was accurate. That was something that could have sabotaged her engagement. But Porsha wanted to not take accountability for it. Porsha, I don't care if it was 20 years from now, you were on camera with Phaedra as Shamea's bestie, having a conversation about Shamea allegedly having sex with somebody that she was not going to get married to. You knew exactly what you did. Take ownership for what you did. Now, Shamea interrupts and said, she said Phaedra and Porsha were the ones who were actually having the conversation. So Shamea like, wait a minute. Don't make it seem like I just put that out there, girl. You actually did that. Again, Porsha takes no ownership for it, which again, I can understand why Shamea is like, I'm not saying nothing to her because it seems like, Shamea is a peacemaker. Now, I don't believe Porsha took accountability for the conversation that she had with Phaedra about Shamea and Kandi and Todd, okay? In fact, Porsha glossed over it. Porsha took no accountability. Then Porsha immediately says, I kiss Kandi, you kiss Kandi in the club. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Porsha is intentionally trying to sabotage Shamea's relationship. You put out there that, Shamea and Kandi and Todd allegedly did this. Now you're talking about, I kiss Kandi in the club, you kiss Kandi in the club. Girl, go on with that. Nobody cares, okay? So why is Porsha putting this information out there? What is she trying to do? Why does it feel like Porsha was trying to put that out there for Shamea's husband? Like, because girl, what? I kiss Kandi in the club, you kiss Kandi in the club. Porsha does not want to acknowledge Shamea's feelings, okay? In fact, Porsha tells Shamea the stuff between them kissing Kandi was 10 years ago. And basically, why is Shamea bringing it up? Porsha calls Shamea nasty. No accountability. Porsha makes it clear, I thought we had a beautiful friendship. Shamea stated she thought they had a good friendship as well. And so she found out the real reason as to why Porsha did not attend her wedding in Kenya was because they was beefing. But if y'all remember, Porsha said, it's because I'm pregnant and I can't travel. So make it make sense. Porsha, you are definitely not a good friend. And we have proved it in multiple incidences between you and Shamea. Like, y'all was beefing. Okay. But you said before it was because of a medical reason. You were never this girl's friend. I think y'all were friends hanging out trying to get men, but y'all definitely wasn't friends. Andy asked Kelly, what is her, basically, what is her understanding on the situation between Porsha and Shamea? Of course, Porsha is making faces, honey. Now, while Kelly answers Andy's question, Kelly wants Shamea and Porsha pretty much to figure it out, is what she says. She wants them to figure it out. But get this, y'all. Kelly then says to Shamea, I just want you to tell her, Porsha, how you really feel. Shamea, here we go again. Even Kelly wants you to tell Porsha how you really, really feel. Again, Shamea was being dishonest around Porsha. She did not tell Porsha how she really felt, but all the ladies knew. It's okay, Shamea, to be in your feelings and feel a certain way. Please don't ever let anybody invalidate your feelings because of your personality. Yeah, you can just forget about stuff, but at some point, when you continually have to forget about stuff, you get an attitude and you're justified. You can get an attitude and you can have a problem with it. So sometimes you don't have to be the peacemaker. And especially when you have a friend that is continuing to show you that they're not your friend. Kelly says that, Shamea, this is your moment to tell her how you feel. And Porsha says, this is not her moment. Mic drop. I'm like, what, Porsha? Porsha says because her moment was, so Porsha wants to designate when Shamea can talk. This is the type of friend you don't want, okay? So Kelly is going back and forth with Porsha saying it is Shamea's moment. Porsha and Kelly, they're going back and forth. They're arguing about whether the reunion is the right place for Shamea to speak on her issues with Porsha. Okay. In this friend group or friend circle that Shamea, whatever y'all want to call it, that they had between each other, you can tell that Porsha was the dominant person and wanted to rule the friendship. And I don't mess with hoes like that, because you don't get, nobody rules me but me. So I can, again, understand why Shamea didn't say anything. It would never be me, but I can understand because she wanted to keep it peaceful. Okay. Shamea finally speaks up. She was sitting quiet for a minute. Shamea states Porsha was distancing herself from the start. Okay. Porsha didn't want to be around Shamea. So it seemed like there could have been some jealousy there. Porsha goes on to say, oh, I was experiencing a death. Girl, gone with that. One thing about Porsha, she gonna make up a reason as to why she can't do anything. Just like on the show, she has this devastation. She was devastated. She was married. Girl, you didn't like that man. Quit lying. So Porsha has one lie after another. Porsha states Shamea is using stuff against her. And at this moment, I understand, and I said that before, the toxicness of their relationship. Shamea is unable to really address anything as it relates to Porsha because the information isn't received at all. I don't get this type of relationship. I don't. I am too fucking old to play with grown ass women. If you don't know how to conduct yourself, if you don't know how to be a friend, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm just not going to mess with you. I won't respond to your texts. I'll just go away. I don't have time for it. Life is too short. I feel like at my stage in my life, I know how to be a friend and I know how to not be one, because I will leave you where you stand. So I totally understand Shamea. Shamea is a different kind of class. Although her and Porsha does have some similarities, they are very different. Shamea declares she was not on the show to sabotage Porsha. Porsha. Shamea didn't want to be on the show as well because of her husband, okay? So I doubt that she came on the show, baby, to sabotage you. She has more. She doesn't need to sabotage you. You are struggling trying to stay in a house that you can't afford. Let's just be honest. Shamea addressed Porsha's relationship with Britt, which seems very fake. Shamea felt like Porsha and Britt's relationship was a dig against her, and I thought it was as well. Porsha gives us this speech about how her life was so difficult, and I just spoke on that. Porsha, it seems like every time, I know for the last few years, well, the last time she was on the show, remember, it was the Bolo situation. She left, she didn't come back because she did not want to address that Bolo situation. And then she didn't want to address how she got that lady's husband. So Porsha has one difficult situation after another, especially when she doesn't want to address difficult things. So she talks about how difficult it's been. This season has been so difficult for me, going through a divorce, and I was at my lowest point. Girl, bye. Girl, you filed for divorce. You knew when you joined the show that you were filing for divorce. What, Porsha? I'm over your excuses. Porsha, you didn't have shit going on. All you did was lie on Drew, throw her under the bus. You allowed Shamea to help you, and then you threw her under the bus at the reunion. Porsha states she doesn't feel comfortable in the relationship with Shamea. Shamea was one of the ones that had your back on this show, sweetheart. So I guess now she can represent herself because she didn't never need to have your back. Shamea says she has much love for Porsha. And she also says that that's the difference between the two of them, because regardless of everything she went through, we saw Shamea's daughter in the hospital. Shamea says she lost a pregnancy, never abandoned a friendship, but the first sign of trouble, Where did Porsha go? She left. Shamea said that's the difference between her. She says her love for Porsha is the reason why people call her a lapdog. Yet Porsha pretty much discarded her at the first sign of trouble. Shamea says she wants peace for both of them. This is a lot, y'all. This is a lot of information, okay? Woo. So Andy pretty much raps, and one of the things he says to Shamea, he says that it is very important for Shamea to express herself in the moment, when it happens. When it happens. If she wants to continue to develop in this group, Andy asked Shamea to vocalize her issues instead of holding things in. Andy also spoke on the women having no compassion for Drew as she went through her divorce and still is. But they had comparison for Porsha, who never loved her husband. I mean, were they a real relationship? Or did Porsha just want this man for some damn money? Because that's what everybody think. And of course, Kelly tried to explain. Ain't nobody trying to hear what Kelly is saying, because it seems like y'all had no compassion for Drew. You dragged her. You even, y'all listen. Shamea is still talking about receipts, and I get that the reunion is filmed earlier. Shamea still went on her social media talking about Drew's bag. And she's still referencing Drew's bag as fake, and Drew has provided the receipts. I need Shamea to stop it, okay? Because at this point, you making yourself look like a damn fool. Andy asks, why did Shamea twist Drew's words when Drew made the comment about working with Dennis and the money being used to pay for PJ's college? Porsha explained Shamea pretty much made the situation worse. Shamea explained the situation to be much worse than it really was. So you see Porsha gonna throw Shamea ass under a 16-wheeler even when it ain't necessary. Shamea, I hope you've learned your lesson. Shamea said she should have minded her own business and not mentioned the situation. And Drew agreed, like, girl, you are fighting for your life in this friendship, honey. Now, again, Shamea made herself look like a damn fool. I mean, Shamea did it all season. Hopefully, she learned her lesson. Porsha and Shamea out to dinner with Ralph. And why did Shamea set this meeting up to get back at Drew? If Shamea doesn't like being called a lapdog, that was lapdog behavior. Shamea, why are you dragging Drew for Porsha, babe? Why? And then, of course, Dennis verifies he never said anything about Drew trying to sleep with him. Did Porsha lie? I believe she did. I believe she did. And as I told y'all a long time ago, that was never true. I mean, Drew and Dennis never had anything going on. Y'all got to understand, Porsha was set to come on this show to tell us about her husband, show us the beautiful home. We want to see some shopping. We want to see, married couple stuff. And it didn't happen because she in turn went and filed for divorce. Was she doing it for, as a story or what? Ultimately, she tried to get back with her husband who didn't want her anymore. Porsha gave absolutely nothing. She didn't have shit to give but lies, okay? This whole thing, Drew and Dennis was a lie. It was a total lie. Okay, let's get into it. Now, I had told y'all that, you know, Shamea had went on her social media and she made some statements. Now, one statement that she made was basically apologizing and being unprepared.
First off, I just want to say I'm happy reunion is done. Yeah. I mean, while I'm happy to have a peach, it's just been exhausting preparing for reunion and knowing that you're gonna have to recap an entire season of feelings, emotions, and all the above. So I had anxiety leading up to it, but now that it's done, I mean, can you believe we wrapped 10 p.m. down there? Like, oh my goodness. I thought it went well, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel like I was ill prepared, like with the whole receipt thing and all that shit. Like I didn't, and for me, I'm just not a combative person. I'm not a dogmatic person. I don't like to go back and forth and argue all the time about stuff. Like it's draining, right? So I find myself naturally wanting to shut down on things. So when it came down to like just going in it was like, you find yourself in shouting matches, you're yelling, and I don't know, I don't know if you give up, but just kind of be like, what's the point? Like I feel like there were times where I was able to get my point across, but then other times I was not. I felt like railroaded, almost like just not heard, and I guess at this point I just have to be okay with it. And then I felt like people were playing like word games. It was like word semantics. Like I'm in my head about a lot and I'm thinking about a lot. I'm thinking about like, damn, but did I say this right? Could I have done it better? Could I have made my point better? There were some things that I wanted to say that I forgot to say in the heat of the moment. So for that, I have some disappointments with myself that I wasn't really able to state my case as good as I felt like I could have.
Yeah, so I can kind of understand that. And she right. If you're not a person that's combative, if you're not quick with that toxic shit, you gonna be looking like, hey, and it could have been that, we know that that's not her personality. And she wasn't prepared, like she said, to have to recap all of this stuff. She wasn't prepared. And I get it. And, I think for Shamea, the best thing she can do is be herself, whoever that is. But in terms of the drama, you're going to have to address the drama in the moment. Okay. Now, Shamea also came back and apologized. Let's get into it.
So let's start off with
Pretty, so pretty. I love it.
the showcase, back and forth on the disc with Drew, me singing, her singing. There's room for us all to win, right? And I will say, I threw some light shade. I own it. I was guilty of that for sure. I thought it was funny. Like even down to the radio station, I'm like, hey, good pub, bad pub. It's all pub. I'm pumping you too. I'm talking about 5 different languages. You don't speak no 5 language. I'm talking about, she ain't hitting them notes. Whatever. Light shade to me. Anyway. But I think Drew's a great singer. I think she sounds good. Would I have chosen a different producer? Absolutely. But it is what it is. Moving on from that, I even asked Drew to do a showcase with me, which you guys didn't see that part. At that studio that day, I asked her to do a showcase. And she said, well, are you going to open up for me? And I was like, sure. Whatever. Because, right, it's not beneath me. Whatever. I get it. Fast forward, she's like, oh no, my team and I decided I'm just going to do it by myself. Oh, okay, cool. So the whole time I'm like, hey, so how's it coming? How's the planning coming for your showcase? Like, when are you going to do it? I want to make sure I'm there to support it. Nothing. She's like, oh, it's coming along great. Oh, we're good. What is yours? Making it like kind of a competition. I'm like, well, okay. coming, and it's going great too. Fast forward, I invite her to my showcase. She comes and she tears it apart. I get it. Fine. Whatever. We'll call hers Fun Shade as well. But even at my showcase, I invited her to the stage to do her music. I gave her flowers there. I was like, shout out to Drew. She doing her thing. But we only get this much time on our show, so y'all don't see all that. I'm thinking, like, okay, I'm doing my showcase and we're like almost done with the season, and I haven't gotten an invite to hers. But I'm like, maybe she's doing hers and she's not inviting me. And then I'm like, well, maybe she'll pop out at Angela's event and do some music. Who knows? I don't know. She definitely came to my showcase and picked me apart. Was like, was the mic on? Because I was wondering. Then she changed it to, well, the mic was on, but it shouldn't have been on. Okay, girl. But as a singer, I try to pride myself on doing songs.
Okay, this is a little long-winded. So people did not like this. Like, they did not like this video because, first of all, people didn't like how y'all dragged Drew. I mean, Drew is out here popping. People love her music. Don't try to throw her under the bus when you just started to do music, because people won't like that. And to try to justify what happened between Drew, nobody is buying it, because we saw you drag Drew for simply because of the situation with her and Porsha, which really wasn't even a real situation. So I think the best route for Shamea is just be honest and own it and say, hey, I was really trying to be down for Porsha. I really don't have a problem with Drew, because again, what problem do you really have with Drew? And this is why people are saying, Shamea, stop talking. Now, if you guys had the opportunity to watch Shamea's YouTube channel, it had got real crazy. Now, they had started praying and stuff, and I'm just like, girl, I pray too. But I don't pray for hoes like that. Like, if I'm going to do my job and go home. There's a time and a place for everything. And I feel like that was not the time. Shamea comes back, she does this sorry, and it's giving too much. You don't need to say sorry. The reunion was for the sorry. So maybe, she did it because she missed her opportunity on the reunion. But I think at this point, Shamea, leave it alone. Now, what I would like to get into is what Kandi had to say. Now, if you guys, you know Kandi Burruss, she's friends with Shamea, and she speaks about what she had to say.
Hi, Kandi. Any suggestions for Shamea if she returns to RHOA season 17? I like her, but I found her very disappointing with the lies. I know you had to tell her to keep it real. Ooh. Okay, so for Shamea, actually, I was with Shamea yesterday. I went to go see her. She's going on her family trip today. I believe she's leaving today. So I went by to see her yesterday. And I told Shamea a few things. One, I told her she really don't need that show. If she don't want to go back, she does not have to go back. And, it'll be just fine. You know what I mean? She can live her best life. She has a wonderful marriage and a wonderful family. You know what I mean? But I said, if she chooses to go back, then definitely don't hold back on her feelings. I don't really think that she lied. I feel like, okay, first of all, this is not me picking sides between the two, okay? I feel like there were issues in the friendship prior, and I feel like Shamea should have said something before instead of just acting like everything was okay. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes when things aren't okay, it's okay for you to have attitude about it. It's okay for you to just like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. You know what I mean? And just stand on it. I feel like just trying to be passive about things, it allowed it to come back later like, oh, you weren't tripping all this time, but now you want to trip. No, really, it's been bothering her the whole time, and she should have just said that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I feel like the show itself is going to make it hard for the two of them to fix any friendship because, that's the thing. When you're on TV and you real friends with somebody and y'all have a back and forth, typically in real life, you can have your back and forth and then I don't talk to you, you don't talk to me. And then eventually we might get over it and start back talking. But it's not allowed to happen when you're on television together. When we fall out, then they're going to make us keep bringing it back up. Everybody get to have an opinion about it. It's got to go viral. It's about to be a mess. So that's why I say it can, in my mind, probably get worse going into the next season. So either she just needs to address how she feels and be fully transparent, or no.
I think they have.
But the part about what she was saying about the what was it? The thing about the congratulations on the thing. I think some of those things were misinterpreted. People was like, oh, she lied and said that she didn't congratulate her. What she was trying to say was, say for instance, I don't know, if news came out, say for instance, in March, the end of March, that she was going to be joining the show, and she didn't get those flowers of congratulatory until May. So it's like, if me and you best friends and everybody know that you're like, but you ain't said nothing until a month later, yeah, she gonna feel weird about that. So I think, yeah, you can say, yeah, I congratulated you, but it was a little bit of a delayed congratulations, if that's what it was. And I kind of felt like, her, she was saying how it was spoke about on, when I say her, Porsha had said that it was spoken about on Speak On It when Shamea came out Speak On It at the beginning of the season, right? Or right before the season was starting. And she was saying that I asked her again and again, like, did she congratulate you or not? And that is true. I did ask Shamea.
It wasn't again.
Well, it wasn't again and again, but I asked her more than once. Like, okay, so because in all actuality, I knew she had a problem with that. And I just wanted her to be honest and just say it. But she didn't. She wanted to give, of course, you want to be friends. You don't want to say anything negative.
She answered.
She didn't want to say anything negative towards her friend, which she shouldn't have.
And
I'm not trying to
give away the season either.
I'm not giving away the season. This is past.
No, I'm saying she couldn't. She's doing.
Oh yeah, she said it, and I guess she didn't want to give away anything for the season. But either way, she should have just said how she felt. Now you look like you weren't being honest. So anyway, that's my to-do on that. I hope they can fix it because they got a lot of years. That's a lot of years to know somebody. So Stacey says, hi, Candy. Any suggestions for Shamea?
Okay, guys. So that was Candy's take on it. And I think she was fair. If you guys remember, Candy did do a interview with Shamea. And again, that is Shamea. Not that Shamea is lying. Shamea is wanting to protect Porsha. And I want her to stop. Protect you. You know what I mean? Like, just be honest, because what Porsha has done is used everything you said against you, when all actuality, after researching and looking around, Shamea didn't lie. The lies that she told were to protect Porsha. And as we saw, Porsha didn't protect her. And they don't need to be friends. Porsha and Shamea, they do not need to be friends. And I'm going to tell you why. When you get into these type of situations with your friend, the way that they act lets you know how they really feel about you. Now, Porsha knows exactly who Shamea is. She knows Shamea's personality, and she knows that Shamea has protected her and made herself look like a damn fool. And she didn't care. She used everything that was meant for good to try to not tell the world about the situation between her and Porsha. And she kind of used it against her. Did Shamea lie? Yeah, she lied. But I feel like the majority of her lies was because she wanted to protect her friendship with Porsha. And unfortunately, this was an ugly cost that she had to pay, because people are not critical thinkers. They just go by what they see and they hear. They don't do any research. Again, they're not critical thinkers. You can tell them anything and they'll believe it. And she did it to a fault, to the point that people are not calling her a liar. And Porsha knew exactly what she was doing. Y'all got to understand, Porsha has a history of failed friendships. Shamea don't have that. So we have to look at history. Porsha has fallen out with Nene. I mean, Nene was the one that was laid on top of Porsha, trying to get her to be quiet when she snatched Kenya off the couch. She tried to throw Nene. Well, she did throw Nene under the bus. It was Candy. It was Cynthia. Porsha has fallen out with everybody. Y'all got to let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Now, if you guys are not following me on Twitch, and that is not Twitter, that is Twitch at TWITCH. Make sure you guys download the app and follow me right away on Twitch. Make sure you guys are also following me on Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the block. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop.